What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel and to another Japanese lesson, and today we are going to be going over the name of our favorite insect, Hashira's older sister. Let's go. Guys, before we get into this, just as a disclaimer, this is all just for fun. I am not a Japanese person. However, I have been learning Japanese for a few years, and I have mastered hiragana and katakana, which means I've mastered how to pronounce things because of the way the alphabet actually sounds compared to our alphabet. So I know a thing or two about how to say these names actually correctly. However, if you really want to make sure you are absolutely saying it perfectly correct, always listen to the original Japanese voice acting of these animes. Those are real-life Japanese people. They, of course, are going to say the name correctly because they are speaking Japanese. As a reminder, the English dub is not going to be a good example for you because those are English speakers who are trying to pronounce names. They often say them actually incorrectly, so don't use that. Don't be like, well, they said it like this. And I'm like, okay, they're also English speakers. You gotta listen to the original Japanese voice acting if you want to make sure you get it correct. Today's name was a request from one of my subscribers, so thanks for putting this in. I wanted to actually do this one next because this one is a very commonly mispronounced one because the combination of vowels within her name means something completely different to us than what it does in Japanese. So this one is very commonly mispronounced. I have seen users vehemently tell people, tell content creators to pronounce it the very wrong way because that's the correct way. But again, this is a Japanese name. That means you have to throw out English rules because those do not apply in this case because it is a Japanese name. So let's get into it. If you want to see a more in-depth video where I talk a little bit more about how the alphabets work within the Japanese language, I will put a link to that video in the description below. But just for the sake of things, in case this is your first time with me, there are 3 alphabets in the Japanese language: hiragana, katakana, and kanji. Hiragana and katakana are phonetic alphabets. Every character within these alphabets represents a sound, and that does not change. Kanji, on the other hand, there are over 10,000. They have different meanings. They are very confusing. There is a lot to be said, but one kanji can have over 200 meanings, and one kanji can also have multiple ways of pronouncing it, even if it has the same meaning. It's all over the place. It's very nuanced. We're not going to worry about that. We're just worried about pronunciation here today. As a reminder, in Japanese, there are 5 vowels, and they are pronounced a, I, u, e, and o. And when these are translated to Romaji for us to read, they represent these letters. So a represents A, I represents the letter I, U represents the letter U, E represents the letter E, and O represents the letter O. Now again, these vowels do not change. They always sound like this. And that's important to note for this name because this one is very commonly mispronounced. So going over our butterfly big sister's name, we will start with the family name first. This is what it is in kanji, but here is the hiragana. Ko, cho, u. Now again, if you've watched my previous videos, the u at the end just means that you need to kind of elongate the last o sound. They stick that u there for that reason here. So it is kocho, kocho. Now, in the case of this character, her given name is surprisingly spelled with katakana. Now, katakana is not super commonly used in Japanese names. Katakana is used for a whole slew of different reasons. There are many different reasons to use katakana. However, most people, when they see katakana, they think that it is a foreign name. Like if I were to go to Japan and I needed to write down my name on paper, I would write it in katakana because they use katakana for foreign words and borrowed words. However, that does not necessarily mean that this is a foreign name. It just means a different nuance that, I'll be honest, I don't fully know because katakana has way more nuances than just being the foreign alphabet. It's just one of the many uses of it. So with that being said, this is what her name looks like. Ka, na, e, which means you're going to pronounce it Kanae. Kanae. Now, Japanese is spoken very quickly, so it kind of comes out a little bit more like Kanae, Kanae. However, it is Kanae. Kanae. This is very commonly pronounced Kanae because we're very used to A and E meaning a hard like A sound, but there's nothing in the Japanese alphabet that actually makes A. Remember that each character within Japanese represents a syllable, so they're each their own sounds and they don't mix and change. They just speak quickly, so it kind of mushes together, but they each still have their own sound. Kanae. Kanae. This was a hard one to find in the anime. The voice actor for Tanjiro saying his name, because his name is Natsuki Hanae, and it's spelled Hanae for us, but you'll hear that it sounds like Hanae. I'll just insert it here.
こんばんは、かまど炭治郎役の花江夏樹です。本日は映画でかまど炭治郎役を演じております声優の花江夏樹です。Jacob, I'm Natsuki Hanae, the voice actor of Tanjiro Kamado. Nice to meet you.
But that is how you pronounce our insect Hashira's older sister's name. I'm not going to say her name either because eventually I will go over hers as well. Kocho Kanae. Kocho Kanae. Not Kanae. Again, English rules don't apply here because it's a Japanese name. Cool? Now you know how to say her name. Congratulations. You're learning a little bit more about Japanese and the language and all the fun things that come with it. Guys, if you liked this video, don't forget to like this video. Also, leave a comment on what character you want me to do next. I am taking requests. I would like to do the characters that you all want to hear from. There are plenty that are mispronounced. There are plenty that are commonly pronounced correctly. But let me know what one you want to see me do next in the comments below. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I would greatly appreciate it. I will be making these videos fairly often, and I also react to Dandadan, so hit that subscribe button. Follow me on my social medias. I am at Looking Nerdy on Instagram, X, and TikTok. It's all linked in my description. But thank you so much for watching today, and with that, mata ne!